Hello and welcome to episode 249 of Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty. Of course, I am your host, Rick Doherty. On today's show, my good friend and co-host Sarah Says will be back on the show to talk about Disney characters that you don't see in the parks anymore, or at least are rare to see in the parks. It will be a trip down memory lane at both Disneyland and Walt Disney World. Before we get started, you know I have to ask you to subscribe to the Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty YouTube channel. It takes 30 seconds and it is 100% free. We are working on a lot of different projects and we need your help to make them work. Unlike other YouTube channels, we don't ask for money. We just ask that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, drop likes on videos and podcasts when you enjoy them, and leave positive comments on everything. Right now, I'm airing a new vlog from my late September trip to Walt Disney World every Monday. These vlogs started on October 20th and will run through the end of the month. Check out all of those vlogs. Once again, in 2025, I will be taking part in Vlogmas. Every day for the month of December, I'll be posting a video vlog or podcast. These will be long video conversations about the parks, videos from inside the theme parks, and of course, our weekly Thursday new podcast episodes. We want to go into the new year getting a bump from the YouTube algorithm, so make sure you are subscribed. Right now, let's get started with our main conversation. Thanks for joining us, Sarah.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm super happy to be here.
Everybody wake up your kids, pump them full of coffee, as David Letterman used to say. Sarah is back on the show.
Yay!
Very, very busy, and I'm glad that she took some time out of her busy schedule to join us here. So, Sarah, this was your idea, this topic, and we are going to today be talking about rare characters that maybe we remember meeting when we were younger that don't seem to appear in the parks anymore, or maybe they do, but we just don't happen to see them anymore. So let's get right to it. I believe this started because you were going through an old autograph book and you saw an autograph from a character that you completely forgot was a roaming character at Disneyland when you were a kid.
Yes, it is a very, a character that you would never think of, you'd never expect unless you watch some really obscure Disney cartoons. But the one that gave me the idea for this is Johnny Appleseed was a character roaming the Disney parks. Well, Disneyland is what I know him from. And I have his autograph in my autograph book. And I've not been able to locate this picture. So we just had a big move, hoping to have found this picture, right? But I have it because it was back in the days when all the characters would roam together. And it is me sitting on a bench in, I believe it's Fantasyland, with him and Cinderella. And I'm holding his staff while he's talking to Cinderella. And so Johnny Appleseed is who completely set me off on this whole thing of characters you never see in the parks anymore.
You know, I don't even really remember there being a Johnny Appleseed cartoon. I guess that this is from back in the day when they used to do a lot of the, more popular fairy tales used to have.
It was like around that same time. I believe it was around the same time. It's the same style of animation as the Ichabod Crane, the Headless Horseman, Sleepy Hollow, Mr. Toad cartoons. It's that same style of animation. So I believe it's around that same era.
And that sort of led me into the ones that I remember being very common in the parks when I was a kid. And that was the Three Little Pigs.
Yes. Yeah, that's another one that's completely disappeared because you do see them as well when you look at when the park first opened and like some of the first characters, you see the evolution of the Three Little Pigs.
Well, and I think that is sort of telling about what we're going to see with some of these earlier characters that we remember from the 80s and 90s that maybe disappeared over the course of the years. Is while people do know that Disney did a version of Three Little Pigs,
Yep.
it's not viewed as a Disney property. I think people still know the story itself from maybe being read it as a kid or just, hearing about it through the grapevine. More people know the story of the Three Little Pigs just as a kid's story than
Right.
they know it as a Disney story. So even though characters like Cinderella and
Hmm.
Snow White started off in fairy tales, after a while, the collective zeitgeist began to view them strictly as Disney characters. When you think
Right.
of Snow White now, you immediately in your mind think of Snow White from
Right.
the animated version that Disney created in 1939.
Yes.
When I think of the Three Little Pigs, I still think of the Three Little Pigs book that
Hmm.
my mom read me when I was a kid. I don't
Okay.
even think about the Disney one until much later. So I think that's sort of the way with Johnny Appleseed and
Hmm.
the Three Little Pigs, that we don't associate them with Disney. So now that we have IP heavy
Yeah.
leadership like Bob Iger wants to promote what you think of as being Disney, and that's it. So I think that might be why some of these characters are disappearing. But you would be hard pressed to find a parade or anything really, even postcards, things like that, from the 70s and 80s at Disneyland or Walt Disney World that didn't have the Three Little Pigs in it.
Yeah, it's true. And like, I remember growing up, we had a coffee table book for Disneyland, and they were on the cover, like in the little collage of pictures. And this was in the 80s. So it's like, yeah, they were all over the place. And I mean, like how you said that the story of the Three Little Pigs, you remember is the one your mom read you. But in my mind, I had the one, remember those where you had the cassette tape or the record and it read you the story and then it chimed to turn the page? I had the Three Little Pigs that way. And it was so my mind, it's always the Disney little Three Little Pigs. So
Okay, okay. So maybe I'm wrong. I just don't know if
well, it just
Disney,
depends.
especially before Disney Plus, if
Yeah,
Disney had any motivation to have you think of these
right.
particular characters. So who are some others that you've thought of over the years?
So in the same vein of when I was, so that was in 1987 is from when this book is from. Because I was 3 the first time I went. And another one that I had is I don't know of them being in the parks recently, but Cinderella's mice were very prominent in meet and greets in Disneyland during that time as well. And I have tons of pictures that I can find of me with them as well. They traveled around with Cinderella and walked around. And because this is back when they were free roaming characters, right?
Mhm.
And yes, Cinderella's mice are another one too that I don't ever see in parks for any reason anymore, I feel like.
I think I remember, this is one of those that I don't know if I remember it or if I remember it from just seeing videos
Mhm.
of the parks. But back when Walt Disney World was free roaming characters, I do remember the mice, I think.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and there was like
At
Gus
least
Gus and Jacques, but these were like the girl ones that had, yeah, it was really interesting.
I at least remember them in parades.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know if I remember them as walk around characters, but I at least remembered them in parades. You know, somebody who I still see in parades, but I don't see very often actually in the parks. And this might be sort of related to
Yeah.
our topic here today. I only met him once as a standalone character as an adult, and you know how much I went to Walt Disney World. And
Right.
this was literally one of those days where in Epcot they just have the trainees, the people who are friends with the characters, they're training. So they
Yeah.
have like these special pop up meet and greets at Epcot so they can
Okay.
get used to it. Mr. Smee. Mr. Smee is always in the parades
Yeah.
and he's very common in that respect,
Mm-hmm.
but he doesn't really have like a meet and greet at Walt Disney
No.
World. I don't see him walking around Walt Disney World. I don't know if that's different over in Disneyland, if Mr.
I
Smee
don't
is more
ever
common.
remember seeing him walk around like, I always remember him in Fantasmic. I always remember him from the Main Street Electrical Parade and, like, other parades, but I do not have any recollection of all the times that I would have been there of him being a meet and greet character.
I remember him all the time when I was a kid. Like,
Yeah,
he was one of them that was just roaming around the parks.
crazy.
Yeah, I
Huh.
think if I could dig up my old Disney autograph books, which there's no, I mean, I don't even think I have them anymore. It would probably be like 7 Smee autographs.
Interesting. Yeah, that's crazy. Because yeah, I don't remember him walking around ever. I do have to give the caveat that when I was really little, like the time of Johnny Appleseed and the Cinderella's mice, is I was horrified of any character I did not know was a real person. So if it was the only character I would willfully go visit was Minnie Mouse. That is the only one I'm smiling in pictures, anything. So I'm gonna have to show you sometime. It's hilarious. But all the other ones that you can't see a human face on, I'm like, no, 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 I'm not okay with this. But yeah, I don't remember. I remember seeing Peter Pan a lot, a lot, a lot. Wendy occasionally, Captain Hook occasionally, but almost always Peter Pan.
Yeah, Peter Pan at Walt Disney World, I believe in Magic Kingdom, still has a regular, like, you can get in line
Yeah.
meet and greet. And even in the times that I've been to Disneyland, which is pretty limited,
Hmm.
I've seen him running around Disneyland parks. Like, I've only been
Yeah.
there a couple of times, but I have seen him a lot in Disneyland. He'll even free roam sometimes in Walt Disney World, I feel.
Yeah.
So he is definitely a common one, but I feel like Hook and Smee have been kind of relegated to the parades.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've even seen Wendy a little bit, like, as a roaming character, but
Yeah.
I think Hook might be more in Disneyland, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But I know they love their villains over in
Right.
Disneyland. So let's get to some others. Who are some others that you have that you noticed, especially in that book? I'm interested to hear who you're
Well, in
seeing
the
in
book,
this
the
book.
rest of them, that was the one that really stuck out to me. The rest of them were pretty common: Minnie Mouse, Mickey Mouse, Cinderella, Snow White, like all those. Another one that I thought of, I only ever saw him once, and I think the reason that he is no longer a meet and greet character or on anything is because of um, IP rights. Is Roger Rabbit? He used to be a meet and greet character at Disneyland.
Roger Rabbit used to be
Yeah.
everywhere in Walt Disney World. He used to be as ubiquitous as Mickey Mouse. I mean, it was
Yeah.
almost like there were two major characters in the late 80s, early 90s, and it was
Hmm.
Mickey and Roger Rabbit. And I've talked about this before. I don't think people realize just how big that movie was
Yeah.
in the Disney universe when it was released. But Roger Rabbit was everywhere. He was in every parade, every stage show. I know that recently I had a conversation with Jeff Gordon, not the NASCAR driver, but Jeff Gordon from the social media platforms Gordon Grubbs.
Mhm.
And he has gone to all of the international Disney parks. And we had a
Oh, cool.
conversation about that for a podcast episode. And when he was in one of, I believe it was Disneyland Paris, they had a special event for the 30th anniversary of Disneyland Paris. And Roger Rabbit was in a couple of their shows. And
Interesting.
Disneyland Paris has a face character of Eddie Valiant that they have had at
Really?
events. And they have the scariest looking Jessica Rabbit that you will ever see in your entire life. So that is definitely a rare character that I really wish would come back more.
Yeah.
I think that Disney really steered hard into it to the point that maybe it almost became overkill. But I
Yeah.
think if they brought Roger Rabbit back more now, the nostalgia attached to that, combined with the fact that now it is a movie that you
Mhm.
can go back and watch. I believe it's on Disney Plus, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, I've watched it on
I
Disney
mean, don't
Plus.
quote me on it, but I'm pretty sure at some point it definitely was. But yeah, I remember as a kid growing up, like watching it. We had it on VHS, my neighbor did, and we watched it all the time.
Oh, it was huge.
It was
And
huge.
it was like just dirty enough that when you got the jokes, you felt like you were like an adult, like a grown
Right.
up. Like, I got the adult jokes, but none of them were so bad that your parents were like upset that you got the dirty
Right.
jokes, right?
Right.
That was a really great movie, and I do think that they should go back and bring back that character. The other day, because I had nothing to do for a week, so we got a free 1 week of Paramount Plus so that
Ooh,
I could watch old episodes of Cheers because
nice.
Paramount Plus has
Yep.
Cheers. And there was an episode where Frasier's son, Frederick, is like a little baby and he has him in the bar. And Norm gives him a cigar and he's like, hey, look, he looks like baby Herman. I'm like, nobody would get that joke anymore,
No,
right?
they wouldn't at all. That's so
And
funny.
you know what? I'm going to go back to your Roger Rabbit comment and say a character who used to appear at least a lot at Disney's MGM studios was Dick Tracy.
Oh, really? I
You
don't
used to
ever
be able to see Dick
remember.
Tracy, I
I would have
believe.
died. I would have literally died.
That's right. I forgot how much that you like Dick Tracy.
Oh, I love Dick Tracy. Oh my gosh, that's cool though. I don't ever remember that at Disneyland.
I know that he was big at the time, and I think that he was an actual, he was a face character. It was,
Yeah.
a real person in a
Yep.
Dick Tracy outfit. But that reminds me of two different types of characters that used to be at Disney MGM Studios. Well, one was at MGM and one was at Epcot.
Okay.
Disney MGM Studios had a show and costumed characters with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Oh.
including April,
Oh, cool.
and Epcot had a show with Barbie.
Really?
So they
Really?
were technically characters in Disney parks.
So on the same lines as that, because Disneyland had the Power Rangers. Did they have Power Rangers?
Yes, I believe MGM
Okay, because I
Studios
know
did
they had
have.
it for a
Yeah.
while. It wasn't like a huge long time thing, but that's one they don't have anymore. But that's really cool that they had, especially that they had April. That's so cool.
Yeah, my wife Courtney was actually like she had never been to Magic Kingdom before we were married, before I took her. But at one point, like her uncle's company had an event. She lived in Orlando for a little
Oh,
while,
okay.
and her uncle's company had an event at MGM Studios. And she was
Wow.
showing me some of the pictures when she was a kid. She was like in fourth grade. And there was just a picture of her with like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was
That's so
awesome.
crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really, really cool. And it's one of those things that you forget were there for a while. Do you have any
Yeah.
others that you were thinking of
Um,
before we move on here?
yeah, another one that stood out to me that I remember only ever really seeing once because it was during the whole thing is we see Esmeralda in the parks, but we no longer see Quasimodo as a character in the parks. But he was around for a while, but no longer that I have seen, unless it was in some sort of a parade or something that I missed. But he used to be a meet and greet character and is no longer.
That's interesting because when I went to 90s night at
Hmm.
Disneyland, Courtney wanted to meet Esmeralda,
Yeah.
and we waited 2 hours.
Oh my gosh.
We actually waited maybe 45 minutes, but by the time we got to the front of the line, they were rotating between Clopen, I believe,
Yes, I think that's it. Clopin, something like that. It's French.
Between Clopin and Esmeralda with Phoebus.
Okay.
And we wanted to meet
Yeah.
Esmeralda with Phoebus. So we waited the 2 hours. So we waited the 45 minutes. And then when we saw that we weren't going to get Esmeralda and Phoebus, we just immediately moved to the back of the line and kept waiting so that
Okay.
we would eventually get them by the time we got to the front of the line. And even having 3 characters at 90s night at Disneyland who were in Hunchback of Notre Dame,
Hmm.
they didn't have the aforementioned Hunchback
Yeah.
of Notre Dame.
Right? Yeah, it's so bizarre. Like, yeah, he was around for a minute. I don't know. Maybe it was like a costume issue. It was just too much. Who knows? But yeah, that was one that definitely, I was like, yeah, that's one I haven't seen in a very, very, very long time.
Well, that night we had to make the decision whether we would meet Esmeralda
Hmm.
or Megara.
Oh, okay.
And I still haven't had the chance to meet Megara, who is one of my favorite characters. She was
Yeah, she's
meeting
great.
with Hercules at
Oh,
90s
what?
night. Yeah.
Oh, I would have had Courtney stand in line to meet Esmeralda, and I'd be like, I'm going to go wait for Megara and Hercules.
So, yeah, I mean, that's fine. I didn't want to sleep on the couch, but I think that that's another example of a fairly rare character. I think that
Yes.
sometimes Megara and Hercules and Pain and Panic show up
Yeah.
for the Run Disney races. I've seen them
Yep.
there, but I don't really see them anywhere else.
Yeah, they're kind of a niche, like the whole 90s characters, a lot of them from the cartoons that aren't like The Little Mermaid, which I mean, those are technically 80s, but Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, all of those, they're they were popular, but not as popular as some of the other ones. So it's more of like we can bring them out for these cool special events, but they're not going to be a roaming character.
Like the late Renaissance movies.
Yeah, yeah.
I know the one time I was doing a Run Disney event, and what is it? Is it Bolt? Is that the dog?
Oh, Bolt,
Yeah.
like the little dog that John Travolta did the voice for, and Miley Cyrus was the little girl.
I,
A white dog. It has like a lightning bolt collar.
a
Yeah,
white dog with a lightning bolt collar.
yeah.
Yes,
Bolt.
that was at one of the Run Disney
Oh,
races.
interesting. I have never seen that as a face character. It just is weird to me that that would be a face character, or not a face character, but like a character.
Right,
They
it
should just
wasn't a
have a cute
face
little
character.
white dog running around.
So I wanted to mention a couple characters who were all over the parks when
Yeah.
I was a kid. And with the exception of Mickey's 90th birthday,
Mhm.
when they had some special character meet and greets at Walt Disney World, I never saw them. And that's Robin Hood and Little John, but also, what was it, Prince John?
Prince John. I have an autograph from Prince John in that book because he was part of that whole little meet and greet group.
They used to all be everywhere in the parks. And then I guess that's another story that Robin Hood is a famous story separate from
Yeah.
Disney. So they just sort of tended to move away from some of those. Even really in that era, I think the only movie that's really stuck around is maybe 101 Dalmatians with
Yeah.
Cruella de Vil as a meet and greet character
Mhm.
and Marie from Aristocats.
Yeah. I was actually, it's funny. I was just thinking about Aristocats when you said that. And I'm like, man, they had a missed opportunity for like a cat cafe with the Aristocats.
That's a really, really good idea.
My sister had a stuffed Duchess. That's the mom, right? And I remember my sister had a stuffed one that she got at the park. So that's another, like, couldn't meet her, but you know.
I believe you used to be able to meet some of the brother cats
Yeah,
too.
like the three kittens together.
Yeah, but now it seems to just be Marie.
Yeah. Well, I think she's the most popular.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely.
Absolutely.
And one thing I did see is with Jollywood Nights coming back
Mhm.
to Disney's Hollywood Studios, they now brought a couple characters that are going to be meeting there that
Oh.
are some new ones that I wanted to add to this conversation when we talk about rare characters.
Mhm.
And they're going to have Bing Bong
Really?
from Inside Out
That's fun.
and the I don't even remember the name, but I think it's from Inside Out as well. The unicorn from the dream.
Yeah, I don't remember its name, but I do know who you're talking about. I can see it in my mind's eye.
So I feel like Disney is also trying to maybe bring some rare characters into the mix. But right now, especially with the way they do meet and greets in Walt Disney World, where it's scheduled, you go,
Mhm.
you stand in line, and I understand why they do them that way.
Right.
But I think we're gonna see fewer and fewer really rare characters. It's more likely to see them over in Disneyland because they
Mhm.
do just walk around the park. So somebody can show up to be a friend of the characters
Right.
and they can just be any character throughout the course of Disneydom. So that might be one of the reasons that you see more rare ones at Disneyland. I think Baloo is another one.
Mhm. Yep. Yeah, that's definitely one.
Genie shows up sometimes at like the Halloween parties and
Really?
stuff.
Well, that's cool. Because I mean, we see Aladdin and Jasmine already, but Genie, that's a fun one. I've never seen Genie.
I have a picture with Genie from
Nice.
one of the not so scary Halloween parties. That was one where I was willing to wait.
Yeah, I've never, at any time I've been to a special event at Disney, I've never waited to meet a character just for the sheer fact of how fast it is to get on rides. I'm like, we are going to plow through the ride for the next 4.5 hours of our lives.
Oh, I totally get it. It's just, people have different priorities
Oh,
for different
totally.
events or whatever, but I definitely can see that some of those events, well, when they originally did Jollywood Nights and the first one ever, everybody who was there was essentially an annual pass holder. Most of
Yes.
them were influencers or people who
Mhm.
were trying to see all of the new stuff, and stuff like Rise of the Resistance and
Right.
Slinky were like 5 minute waits.
Right?
So, yeah, when they do those things, it definitely can tend to be a really great time to get on the rides.
Yeah.
So, do you have any other rare characters that you were thinking of seeing in the parks?
I was trying to think of any more. The only other one that I know is incredibly elusive, and I've only remember seeing him one time, in my childhood, and that was Merlin. I don't know if Merlin was ever, and you only ever really saw Merlin had the meet and greet during the whole Sword in the Stone ceremony by King Arthur's carousel and all of that. And but now it's not the same. So it's they don't really do that anymore. And so Merlin's just kind of gone by the wayside. So that's definitely another one that I don't ever remember meeting Merlin, but I remember seeing Merlin walking around.
I remember when Walt Disney World at Magic Kingdom had the card game and
Oh
Sorcerers
yeah.
of the Magic Kingdom. Yeah.
Yep.
And you would play the card game and Merlin was your host. And I think that a lot of kids probably just assumed it was like a generic wizard that they just made up out of nowhere.
Right. Right.
I had one little topic to catch you off guard before the end of this
Oh.
conversation. And that was, who are some rare characters that exist in Disney movies that you would love to see as a roaming character or as a
Mhm.
meet and greet character who you've never seen?
My number one character that I would want to see more than anything is the dragon version of Sisu from Raya and the Last Dragon. I think that would be one of the coolest. I would wait 2 hours in line to meet Sisu. That is definitely my number one. I would say, let me think about it for a minute. Who else would I really like to meet from?
Well,
This is a tough
obviously Dick
question.
Tracy,
Well,
like
Dick Tracy, yeah, yeah. Um, you can meet all the people now really from, you can meet, I don't know if you can meet Four Town from Turning Red, but basically any of the characters from Turning Red are definitely ones that I have been getting more visual, like you can see them in the parks more, which is great. Um, yeah, those are, Sisu's my number one. Like I've always wanted there, since that movie came out, I've wanted there to be more a representation of that movie in the parks.
it's one of the movies that just got caught up in
Yeah.
the pandemic and never is going to get, well, really Turning Red almost turned into that as well.
Yeah.
But it's one of those movies that just got lost in the shuffle of the pandemic. And it's kind of unfortunate because I feel like if that would have taken off, we would have had some sort of ride or
Oh,
land based on it.
absolutely. It's, oh my gosh. Oh, you know what? I just thought of another one. I actually had to look it up really quick to see if it was a Disney movie because it was another one of those ones that came at a weird time. But did you ever see the movie Ron's Gone Wrong?
No.
Oh my gosh. So it's about this little boy who it's that he gets this robot. And it's like it's really based off of like Apple, but it's these robots and they're your best friend right out of the box. But his is damaged. And so it's all messed up. But it teaches about friendship. And so he names him Ron. His little robot's name is Ron, even though Ron can't figure out this kid's name and he keeps calling him Absalom. And so, but he's like, hello, Absalom. And he does all these horrible things. And it's hilarious. You need to watch it. You, Courtney, need to watch it. It's so good. But I think it would be amazing to have that little robot of Ron and like the grandma like knits him a little beanie hat and like it's so cute. It's such a good movie. He would be another one that I really like to see at the park.
So one of the things that I really like is when I have an affinity for the actor or the actress and they voice a part or they play a part in
Mhm.
Disney. And then I always want to meet that character kind of as a tribute to the actor who played them. So,
Yeah.
I wanted to meet the genie because of Robin
Right.
Williams. And I got the chance during a Run Disney event to meet Carl because I loved Ed Asner
That's awesome.
from both Boondocks and, of course, the Mary Tyler Moore Show. And Up, he was good
Yeah.
in Up as well. Um, and, of course, I like meeting Burt because of
Yes.
my love for Dick Van Dyke, especially the Dick Van Dyke Show. I would love, as silly as it is, and the fact that I know it would never happen, for the Billy Joel dog.
Dodger.
Yes.
That would be amazing.
Why can't
I
I can't even think of the
oh,
name of that movie right
it's
now.
Oliver and Company. That was my
Oliver and
number one
Company.
movie for years. I was obsessed with that movie. I even had a little Oliver that I carried everywhere. Such a good movie. Oh, but yes, a Dodger would be so good.
I think, they just had the documentary about Billy Joel
Yep.
and he's big right now. Let's get Dodger in the
Yeah.
parks. Stop being cowards, Disney.
Oh, it'd be so good. That'd be so good. That's a great one.
Sarah, thank you so much for being back on the show and for coming up with this conversation topic. It
Yeah.
was so much fun. We always love having you on the show.
Well, I love being here. Thank you.
This has been episode 249 of Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty. Of course, that means next week we're going to be hitting another milestone. On our 250th episode, I will be flying solo once again for another show in my series on the tenure of former Disney chairman and CEO Michael Eisner. In the 90s, Eisner brought a lot of prestige to the Walt Disney Company by acquiring independent film company Miramax. While Miramax was putting out movies like Pulp Fiction, Clerks, Shakespeare in Love, and Good Will Hunting that pulled in box office and home media profits that dwarfed their budgets, and also brought a certain stature that comes with award-winning and critically acclaimed movies. The business relationship required Eisner and Disney to partner with a man who was quite possibly the most blatant predator in Hollywood. I will be talking about why the Miramax acquisition made a lot of sense in the early 90s, but it also made sense why Disney let it run its course a little more than a decade later. That will be next Thursday on the 250th episode of Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty. Until then, have a great week.